Cool. Gives me obviously a great pleasure to welcome Jimmy and Peter from ANAKA. I can't believe it's been 21 years. So first of all, congratulations, because that's, obviously you guys know this, but I think people gotta know now that you guys are here to stay, not going anywhere.
Yeah, pretty much.
Against a lot of hopes, but yeah, it's longevity. It had a purpose for us. You know what I mean? And this is what's so cool about what you're doing, man. To see New York the way that it is, in terms of these, venues going down and stuff like that. We've played the Continentals, we've played L'Amour's, we've played CBGB's, man. We've been here for a good number of years, and it's hard to, like, the only thing that stopped us, because we're recording a record right now.
We did get shows in too, so
it's an awesome thing that you're doing. And Knitting Factory is a great place. We played the Brooklyn one. We actually played the main stage of the Manhattan one some time ago. I don't know if you've probably been in there. That place was awesome too. So we're New York warriors when it comes to venues in New York. It's a tough time, but we're gonna get through it.
I mean, I think it was definitely the time for all of us to join forces and kind of think outside the box. Some bands, as you said, you're recording an album right now, but when it comes to playing live music, I mean, the venues can't do it because they can't have, people in their venues, which is obviously devastating for them. So I kind of figured, hey, let's call some of our buddies like you guys, who obviously are always doing something for the community, whether it's on stage and off stage. So it's kind of a perfect fit.
It's awesome. We get to play a show with you too, because I know that we've tried to do this a few times, and we're doing it now, and we're doing it on a pretty grand stage. So we're doing it the best way, I think.
Yeah. And since March, kind of take us to like what the band has been up to. I know obviously there's homeschooling and all that everybody has been dealing with, but what have you guys as a band, apart from, like, of course, the record that you mentioned, have been up to?
Go ahead, Jimbo.
Well, besides everything shutting down March 12th or something like that, we had a rehearsal right before all that started kicking in. And we didn't anticipate, it becoming a year-long thing with COVID. So we had laid all the drum tracks for the new album, and we're really stoked about it. And the work was done in editing and stuff, and all the bizarre timing of everything. We all had to, almost being that we're parents too, we're dads, we had to like deal with the homeschooling, deal with the responsibilities as parents and responsible adults, but with the band, when we got reached out to about this show, I was completely pumped, because I'll be honest with you, I was losing my mind. I'm so bored. I was looking forward to be able to perform and contribute to the music scene in New York, as we've been doing for over 20 years. And the funny thing, it was our 20th anniversary, and it was the year of COVID. It was just like, of course.
That was a tough thing. We wanted to celebrate with everybody, and as difficult as it has been, we had some songs that we've been playing live that we wrote. And yeah, we got in the studio just before this started. So a lot of it has been, I can only imagine what we would have felt like if we didn't do that. And the other side of it is that, we get to be with our kids, man, and our wives. And Matt and his wife had an amazing little guy now, who literally he was born on the week where all of that happened.
Yeah.
So early March, that
early
happened.
March.
And, Matt, he's got a little boy, and that's awesome. And just, really just writing, and back to rehearsals now and everything. And it's really, for us, it's always been, no shortcuts. We got to do the work. And when you hit us up, it's just the right thing to do in terms of what's happening. And it's, it's just another show, man. You said 21 years, man, 21 years, and it's crazy, you look back at it, and that's all stuff that happened yesterday. When you're a musician and you're passionate about it, you just have to keep it going, because really it is that, right? You find out that, people walk around living thinking things can't be taken away. And all for about a year, this music thing was just taken away. We played a couple shows right at the beginning.
It took Doomsday to slow us down a little bit with playing shows, but we're making amends playing this one, so we're looking forward to it,
And 21 years ago, obviously you guys were in very different situations as parents. Obviously, as where you are right now. What do you tell them watching right now, the ANAKA family? Where were you 21 years ago? What was like the dynamic behind? Like, what was like the inspiration? Also being like, Jimmy, Peter, we got to start a band.
Yeah.
No, they had the band before I joined. It was a 4-piece. It was a 3-piece, and Pete was doing the vocals. And I was listening to demoed takes and songs that they were working on. And yeah, then Pete could pretty much take it from there. After that, it became a 4-piece for a long time. So go ahead, Pete.
I mean, really what happened was I was writing, I write a lot of our stuff. So I was writing the lyrics and I was writing the guitar, and I knew it had some really good stuff. So when I met Tony Heredia and Carl Andreasen, who were our previous drummer and bass player, and, showed them the stuff, and me and Carl were cool from Brooklyn College. Tony was on the block, and I kind of met him through, I was playing some, early on in my guitar playing days, playing some Metallica, and he just started yelling at the window, "Hey, who's playing Metallica?" And Jimmy went outside, talked to him, and we became friends there. And a couple of years after that, I started showing him what I was writing, and in January of 2000, we started having a few jams, and we did throughout that whole year, to where we realized there was something really happening. And yeah, I was writing the stuff, writing the songs, but I always knew who was going to be the vocalist. I knew it was going to be Jim. Oh, maybe we should try somebody else. I was like, no, it's going to be my brother, because I knew where he was coming from in terms of, for one, you could trust him, and he was great at, ever since he was little, he was just such a great singer.
I remember my audition. We did it at Fastlane Studios on Flatbush in Brooklyn. And I never really did anything like that before. I probably wouldn't be in a band if it wasn't joining a band with my brother. So I remember doing the audition and holding a piece of paper with lyrics on it. And I was like, how the hell do I do that? Okay, let's see how this goes. And we jammed on a few of the songs that were eventually going to be found on the Down Devil's Road EP. And people started coming in and listening to us. And I was like, holy shit, this is just a rehearsal. And people go, oh, you guys are great. And I was like, oh, wow, okay. There was positive reinforcement already, even from the first song we jammed on at rehearsal, tryouts. So
just tell that there was something happening in the room and we should go forward with these songs. And we did, man. Look where we are all these years later, all these awesome shows, playing with Zach, playing with Korn, and all these things that, when you start, people just tell you, it's not possible. We've always had this thing where we say no shortcuts. Can't even mention shortcuts. You have to do the hard thing. That's how we've always been.
That's how it always is.
What's the most difficult way to do this that we could get the most reward out of it? And okay, that's the way we're going. So it's just kind of like who we are as people. I think it's like born into us through our dad. Our dad is a lot like that. Father. And we also have people that we looked up to, man. Me and Jim, we grew up with some pretty cool role models that we took on, like the Michael Jordans of the world. And for me, even earlier, Muhammad Ali. That's some real stuff for me. You know what I mean? Growing up on that. Even today, I go back to that stuff when I need inspiration, musical at the same time also, the Megadeths and the Metallicas and the Black Sabbath and all that stuff. But just examples of greatness have always been like very important to me.
You can find inspiration in that, and I mean, it's not the same area or the same craft, but when you see what it takes to be great at something, it just motivates you even more to work harder and keep yourself focused and be your biggest critic. And as long as you compete with yourself, you're always winning.
I can't tell you how fun the rehearsals are with the guys. And even that, 2 years ago, we got 2 new members to play with live. Jordan Bernaccia, just an amazing young guy, came in and wowed Jim during the audition when it was time for the other guys to step down after 17 years. Because, this is hard and it does take a toll in different ways. And, we got younger. Think about that. We got younger. And again, we have Jerry. Jerry is really just, his musical mind is just amazing. So to play with these guys, there's a lot of joy in what we do.
And a lot of energy. A lot of energy.
Energy.
Oh man.
Intensity, man.
Energy, man.
That's
there's nothing motivates you more than thunder hitting you in your back when you're on stage. I love it.
So hey, let's send them watching right now a message of hope, because everybody's going through hard times and they look up to you guys because you guys have been bringing them good music for, as we said already, 21 years. So let's send them a nice message from you guys.
I think what we can tell to everybody out there, anybody who's watching, is that, take the difficulties out of it, learn from them, but at the same time, see the positive and understand that whatever you're going through, you're still breathing. You know what I mean? And every day for us and every day for you and is just is a million different chances, at life, at doing whatever it is that you want to do. Just putting the work in, but understand that you're still here. We just went through a pandemic. There's going to be times in life that are difficult, but at the same time, you can come through the other side. And storms always, sometimes you just got to hold through it, and you have to stand strong. And we're happy to say that our music has done that for a lot of people, and through that, you guys have built us and helped us, learn how to be better people in that sense too. Just connecting with somebody that'll walk up to you at a show and say, "Hey man, can you talk to my son? He just started guitar and he loves Rust and Jade, or he loves Glorified." And it's somebody that you don't know, you've never met, but you're having that effect. So the idea of music is very powerful with all the stuff that's going on in the world today. Music brings people together, and Joe, what you're doing, you're bringing people together, man, in a very difficult time.
It's exactly that. The idea that even though we are dealing with massive challenges that we have for the past year, we all learned something from it. I said that earlier. I've learned a lot about myself as an individual, as a father, as a human being, even as a performer. I realized how much I really do love music, and you really realize it when you start feeling it in your gut that something's missing. But physically you feel weird, but through that, we've had a lot of friends, old members, family members have passed during this time, and we miss them, we love them, and our responsibility is to keep living and doing it the right way. Musically, for us, it's getting this next album out and getting it to everybody. And I'm looking forward to getting in the studio and laying down some vocal tracks.
Number 6, baby. Number 6.
Number 6.
Number 6.
6 rings, baby. 6 rings.